Okay, here we are to the Port Myakka lock. Just past the railroad bridge back there. And just on the other side of this lock will be Lake Okeechobee. I'm guessing this is the famous levee around the lake. Okay, Lindy sees the doors opening. Cool. All right, I'm going to prepare to enter. We caught our lines here. We're in the lock. The doors are closing behind us. I think we've got to go about 22 miles till we're over to Clewiston. So it'll take us about 4 hours. All right, there we go. Not much water change there, less than half a foot, if that. And off we go into Lake Okeechobee. Lindy, you've been in Lake Okeechobee a couple of times as a kid?
Yeah.
And I think this is my first time.
Yeah, so some of it's open like this, but then a lot of it is like almost kind of marshy areas where it's grasses and lily pads and stuff.
You definitely, even right here, or especially right here, get the feeling of just how big it is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can see the shore there and then it goes and disappears. And over here the shore disappears quickly. And just out across the whole lake, I mean, you don't see the other side. It's giant. Timing of note there, to get done with the bridge, into the lock and out of the lock, takes about, from when Billy gets there to when you get into Lake Okeechobee, was 1 hour and 10 minutes for us. So we're kind of out in the middle of the lake now and just been watching the depths. The reported lake stage by the Corps of Engineers is 12.26 feet and the Route 1 controlling depth is 6.2 feet. And right there at the beginning, just past the lock, we saw 7 foot or so, but out here in the middle of the lake, it's all been 10.5 feet to 11.5 feet. And we just make sure, we always make sure we're right in the middle of the channel. We continued on our 4-hour trip across the lake. There really wasn't much to see or do here during this portion, as we really just concentrated on staying in the narrow, sparsely marked channel. We also only had a light wind on the nose, so like the rest of our trip across the Okeechobee Waterway, it was only motoring for us and no sailing. Well, we're coming in the channel now towards Clewiston. Hasn't really been any other shallower spots in that 6.9. We haven't seen a whole lot of boat traffic, but here's another sailboat coming out onto the lake. Pretty cool. We're across the lake now and onto the rim route around towards Moorhaven. That's Clewiston is just behind the levee there. We're going to try to make it to the Moorhaven lock before 4:30. If you get there after 4:30, you have to wait till the next morning. This has been fun so far. The lake was a little bit boring. I'm kind of glad to be off it. I kind of like the canals a little bit better, actually. So. Little gators just staring at us. I say little, I don't know, that guy's probably 4 feet long. I wouldn't want him to bite my foot or anything. But we see one about every 3/4 mile or something like that. Lots of birds, lots of fish swirling. This 2-hour portion of the trip was along the Rim Canal, just inside the levee that contains Lake Okeechobee. We made it to the Moorhaven lock. It's 10 after 4, so we had 20 minutes to spare for the last lock opening of the day. We're going to tie up at the Moorhaven City docks here, not too much further up the canal. Heading under this bridge. It's pretty low, like 55 or 56 feet, but I don't even bat an eye at that anymore. See you later, Okeechobee. Moorhaven City Dock. It's 4:28, so 9.5 hours. 9.5 hours, and we're here, just past the lock. Now we're gonna relax. So Moorhaven appears to be just the smallest town. When Lindy called the number for the city dock, which was City Hall, the woman answered. She said, "Hello?"
Although it is Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. Small town, big lake, great people.
She was super nice.
Yeah, I think it's great. $1 a foot. Can't beat that. That's how much Indiantown Marina was too. So every night's just $37 plus tax. So.
So I'm not the only one who cooks here on holiday. Zach is oftentimes in charge of breakfast, and we had some leftover steak and potatoes, and he's making some omelets this morning.
Grilled steak, roasted potatoes, and I threw in some mushrooms too. So this is steak and eggs Zach style. Now we're motoring towards LaBelle. Yesterday was quite the marathon of a trip, but today's just going to be 4 hours. So, and there's supposed to be a free city dock at LaBelle. This area here that we're about to go through looks like really pretty farmland. So you read about tying up to dolphins on Active Captain or just literature about the Okeechobee Waterway. I had no idea what it was. I imagined like concrete dolphin statues on the side that you tied up to. But this is what they're referring to, these wooden pilings. Just so anybody that's interested has that information. That's what the dolphins are that you can tie to wait on the lock or spend the night. And as we pass these dolphins, we're approaching the Ortona lock here. Be the only lock we go through today. 8 feet, okay. Going down 8 feet. Lindy's getting us tied up there. This is pretty cool, more so than when they raised the level. I can physically feel Holiday dropping as they lower the level. I think they do it a little faster. And you can see maybe that fender moving downward. Yeah, for sure. The lock's not got a perfect seal back here in the back, as there's already water spilling in. The water level behind us is up above that water pouring in. Kind of interesting. Another successful lock. We've only got one more, right, Lindy?
Yeah, and that'll be tomorrow.
It is such a beautiful day. It's like this yesterday, too. Lindy's doing some reading. All right, we made it to LaBelle. We went under the LaBelle Highway Bridge, and then just here past it is the LaBelle City Docks, and they are free. Looks like a really neat place there. We're gonna spend one night here, maybe check out LaBelle. 7:30 a.m. and we've left the LaBelle City Docks. Now we are headed towards Fort Myers. We got to go through our last lock. That should take us about 5 hours. We're coming up on the Fort Denard swing bridge here. Those are pretty neat. They rotate to open rather than raise. So. Coming up on our final lock, the Franklin lock here. Once we go through it, we'll have been through all the locks. 5 of them, I believe. Lockmaster's going up there to start it. Said it's only 2 feet. Lindy has just spotted a manatee in the lock with us. Don't know if he'll come back up. Oh, there he is. That's probably confusing to him.
Actually, we learned later that the manatees have learned to negotiate navigation of the locks. They're in there on purpose. They even appear to be aware of scheduled openings and closings of the locks and will often show up prior to that time. Crazy! Obviously, when you're in a lock with a manatee, you have to be extra careful to give them the right-of-way.
The last lock. A couple more hours, we'll be in Fort Myers. Well, we've went under I-75 now. Just the other day, we went under I-95 and the Turnpike, so really it's a sign of us being on the other side of the state. Well, we made it to Fort Myers. We went into the fuel dock. It was over there, and then they directed us to our mooring ball, which we grabbed. Lindy's finishing the tie-up, so we've got the dinghy in the water already, and I'm ready to let's do this.
Food cooked not in my hot galley kitchen.
That's right. What'd you think about Fort Myers, Lindy?
It was cool.
A lot of good restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, we got an early morning, 7 a.m. start, leaving Fort Myers and heading on out. And today we will complete the Okeechobee Waterway. We got one more shortish bridge to go under, and then right at the end of the Okeechobee Waterway we'll go through the Miserable Mile. It's just a narrow part of a channel where the currents can make it hard to stay in the channel. We're coming to the end of the Okeechobee Waterway, and that will be mile 0 of the Gulf Coast Intercoastal. And then we'll start the Miserable Mile, where Lindy is going to pilot across it, because I've done it once and she needs to say that she's done it. We've also now circumnavigated southern Florida with a 2-month stop off in the Bahamas. Lindy, what do you think the prospects of you making it through the Miserable Mile without grounding are?
Oh, come on. I'm just trying to figure out which way the current's pushing me.
Well, good luck. I know you can do it. We're moving the direction that the camera is pointing now, but both of us and the crane are having to point probably about 20 degrees north. Lindy, you've just conquered the Miserable Mile. How do you feel?
Accomplished.
All right. Good job.
We really enjoyed crossing the state on the Okeechobee Waterway. It was hard to believe that just about a week ago we had been on the Atlantic Ocean in South Florida, and now we were on the Gulf Coast, only a couple of days' sail to Cortez. Even though the waterway was all motoring and no sailing, we enjoyed the beauty of our surroundings and also the excitement of tilting under the bridge as well as the locks. It was now time for us to head to Cortez to hide from hurricanes and to give Holiday some much needed love and maintenance, and get boat and crew ready for the sailing adventures to come.